Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Manojji.
Yeah. So, dear participant, this is the second session of this program. Today's second session, we are going to start with Professor Sanjay. Professor Sanjay is a professor and head department of sociology, Mahatma Gandhi Kasha Vidhyapeeth, Varanasi. Social work, social work, Mahatma Gandhi Kasha Vidhyapeeth, Varanasi. That university, very old and renowned university. That university have a great legacy with his name. So, sir, welcome you in this faculty induction program with me and my friend Professor Bharatendra Singh, who is the co-coordinator of this program. We welcome you in this FIP program, and today class, sir is going to talk about very interesting topic, that is MenEngage for the gender equality. Actually, when we talk, anytime we talk about the gender equality and all, always we think in the prospect of the women's. Okay, when any research, anything, when we think some gender equality or gender things, always the question are the Bimars, we can Hindi we call Bimars, yeah, we can discuss and start with the women's. So first time I am going to listen, sir, the gender equality in the purview of the men's, how we make our efforts. I don't know what sir will going to say, but the male perspective, how we can think and we can do something for the gender equality. So very interesting topic is that. So with this, sir, I welcome you. And before starting, I just ask Professor Bharatendra Singh if you want to say a few words. Then we will start, sir.
Yeah, I would just like to welcome sir on behalf of all the participants and HRDC. Interesting topic to listen. And message to the participants, be ready with your questions and keep these questions in Q&A box so that we can ask him at the end of the session. And sir, the participants are not having access to audio, so they will be putting their question in Q&A box. So Professor Verma will be asking those questions to you, or you may see that questions from chat box and you can respond.
Sure. No problem.
So sir, now time is yours, sir.
So I want to share my PPT. No?
Yes.
So it's visible.
Yeah,
my PPT.
Yeah, it is visual, sir.
Okay. So today I am going to talk about MenEngage for gender equality. As Professor Manoj Verma has already talked about the context of engaging men. Thus, actually, context is also here. It's the context is women. So, to empower women, to stop violence against women, to stop discrimination against women, there is a need to engage men, because usually what happens globally, that when we talk about the problem of violence, discrimination, sexual violence against women, usually we see men as a part of the problem, because it is 100% true that the perpetrator is always men who inflict violence against women, whether in their household or in their public life. So here we see that men are not always the part of the problem, but men can be a part of solution also. So here I'm going to discuss about the concept of MenEngage. you see that usually when we put two words together in English, we put a gap between the words, na? But here you see that main engage is there is no gap between the two. So main engage is a new concept. It is a new terminology. So main engage denotes to those men who have commitment for gender justice. So a new terminology, a new concept was developed in 2007 by all those men who are working for gender justice, for gender equality globally. So this new concept was developed by those men who have had commitment for gender justice. As you see that majority of research and advocacy work on gender-based violence focuses on women and girls. So those work, actually, I am talking about all the feminist movements and pro-feminist movements globally. They were addressing the gender-based violence, violence against women, but usually they used to work with men and girls, women and girls. So they underutilize, they underestimate the resource that the men and boys can also be a resource towards change. So here we see that men can also be made a part of solution. So there is a growing international consensus on involving men and boys for promotion of gender equality in society. And this has emerged strongly in many international forums. So as you see that gender-based discrimination and violence includes physical, sexual, emotional, and economic violence, some preferences, unequal resource distribution, and an unequal decision-making power in both private and public spaces coexist. There are few paintings, so I used to put here, so that we can understand the problem of violence against women, discrimination against women. So actually, it is the gender, the idea of gender, which discriminates against women. So these are some impacts of gender. So as you see that according to National Commission on Women's reports, every 26 minutes a woman is molested, every 54 minutes a rape takes place, every 48 minutes an evening incident occurs, every 4 minutes a woman is kidnapped, and every 10 minutes another is burned to death for dowry. So these are impacts of gender mindset perpetuating in our society. You can see the impact of gender-based discrimination. You see that nearly 6 lakh maternal-related deaths per year are due to gender-based discrimination, because women, they get they don't get any rest during pregnancy. They don't take proper medication during pregnancy. They don't take proper food and nutrition during pregnancy. So around 6 lakh women die every year due to maternal-related problems, issues. And it is true that 74% of contraception worldwide is female method. Usually men avoid to adopt any kind of contraception methods. 10 to 69% women victims of physical violence from a male partner. 10 to 20% of women say that their first sexual experience was coerced. Women spend 3 to 4 times more time caring for children than men. Large number of children have no or limited contact with biological father. So as you see that in India, we have a concept of matritva. So we highlight thousands of roles of women, mother, for caring of children. But we never talk about pitritva. A father can also be a caregiver for their children. So we don't put much efforts for that. We don't talk much about that. So there is a need to encourage the involvement of fathers in caring for children. So we should talk about positive parenting, positive fatherhood, involved or engaged fatherhood. And it is true that women provide 90% of domestic unpaid work. Women contribute on average more of their income to care of children. 340 million new cases of STI per year, excluding HIV/AIDS, ages 15 to 49, most to women. So as you see that due to the mindset of gender, we discriminate against women and men. They avoid to take so many positive roles, to play so many positive roles to avoid this kind of discrimination against women. According to NCW, there are cases of violence against women. NCW received about 30,957 complaints from women in 2022. And in 2021, it was 30,864. And out of 30,957 complaints, 970 complaints were related to right to life with dignity, which takes into account the emotional abuse of women. 970 complaints are related to domestic violence. 4,600 complaints were related to dowry harassment. In the year 2020, India celebrated 75th years of independence. And this year was also reportedly dedicated to women and alluded to a change in the mentality towards the women folk. However, when we look back, the violence against women has increased. The national capital alone recorded a 17% rise in crimes against women in the first 6 months of the year 2022. As per the Delhi police data, over the 6 years from 2016 to 2021, there was a 26.30%, 35% rise in crime against women in India. These are some cases of actually there are a number of crimes happened last year, but I have mentioned only 5 shocking crimes against women that shook the nation. It was published broadly in all the newspapers, covered by all the media. So there was acid attack in Dwarka, New Delhi, and there was a case of in murder and forced possession in Uttarakhand. Intimate partner violence case of Shraddha Walkar. We have already talked about it a lot, and media has already discussed about this case, Aftab Poonawalla and Shraddha Walkar case. And Chandigarh University MMS leak case, where 60 students, female students, video was they were covered when they were having baths in their hostels. So this was a very shocking case which happened. And there was a case of Aradhana case. Aradhana was murdered by her lover when she refused to marry her. So these are some glimpses of violence against women. So we need to change the situation, because any kind of violence in the society is not okay. and violence against women is such a grave kind of activity which need to be stopped. So we need to change the situation. So violence against women and girls is not only women's issue, but an issue of concern for society at large. Usually, when there is a case of violence against women or girls happens in the family, so people say that this is the only a family matter. We don't need to discuss in the public, but this is not true. We need to discuss every kind of violence cases of violence against women in those which is happening, whether in private sphere or in public sphere. And we also need to highlight that not only women suffer from gender-based violence, but a lot of men also suffer from gender-based violence. So here, our concern is that men should also realize the patriarchal notion of gender, which also inflict a lot of violence, a lot of discrimination against men. So there is an urgent need to change the patriarchal mindset, gendered notions of masculinity and femininity by engaging men and boys in gender discourses. Because still in this era, globally, men are in position of authority. Men are head of their family, men are head of their community, men are head of the state, and men is the head of our nation. So men are in position of authority, and if men decides that there will be no violence against women, so I think the situation will change, and men can be a change agent for stopping violence against women, for stopping gender-based violence against men and women, against all genders, and to change the situation. So there is a need to engage men, because as we see that men are not violent by birth. Men are and boys, they learn violent activities, violent behavior during their socialization. And as we have already discussed that men are in position of authority, so they can decide that there will be no violence against women, no violence against any gender, and men are involved as perpetrator. So we see that if there is any kind of violence against men or women, girls or boys, we see that most of the perpetrators are men. If men are not a perpetrator, then other men who are a bystander, they are just mook darshak. They don't intervene if there is any kind of violence against women is happening in front of them. They don't interfere, they don't intervene there. So I think men should need to change their behavior. They had to object on the cases of violence against women and any kind of violence against men or women. And here we see that men react when they feel violence against themselves. So they can react on others also. If there is violence against women happening in front of them, they should react on those cases. So here we see that men are not systematically taught not to violate others' right. So usually during the process of socialization, we don't teach our boys how to behave with others, how to not to violate the rights of others. So if men changes their mindset, men change their behavior, they can be role models for other men. So there is a growing need to educate men on gender as a cultural construct, because as we see that gender is a culture specific idea. It is a society specific idea. Gender is a kind of mindset, a kind of idea, a kind of concept which is systematically taught to our boys, to our girls. So, and due to this gender mindset, gender concept, men and boys, they learn to discriminate against women, to discriminate against other genders like transgenders, people belonging to sexual minorities. So here, due to patriarchy, we learn this kind of cultural values. And here we need to discuss about the concept of masculinity also, because masculinities and femininities, these are not associated with our body. These are cultural norms, cultural construct. So we need to look up upon us as a man. What kind of masculine ideas we are bearing with us. So here there are a few policies I would like to discuss here. There was a conference organized in Beijing, which is called Beijing Declaration. It was organized in 1995. It was a 4th World Conference on Women. There it was highlighted that there is a need to encourage the full participation of men in all sections towards gender equality. So this was the first policy which highlighted the positive role of men towards gender equality. And this declaration also stresses that gender equality could only be achieved when men and women work together in partnership. So here, men can also be a partner for achieving gender equality. So men can supplement the feminist movement by their full participation in feminist movements. And this platform for action also emphasizes the principle of shared responsibilities between men and women at home, in the workplace, and in the wider national and international communities. So men and women should work in collaboration, in partnership, and men should also take the responsibility of the domestic chores. Men should be a part of their kitchen also. They need to share the work of their women partners, their mothers, their sisters, their wives. So men should also need to engage in kitchen work. So here I would like to put the words of Michael Flood, who is a pro-feminist man working on the issue of masculinities. He is a sociologist based in Australia. So according to him, first and most importantly, efforts to prevent violence against women must address men, because largely it is men who perpetrate this violence. Second, constructions of masculinity, the social norms associated with manhood, and the social organization of men's lives and relations play a crucial role in shaping violence against women. So the way we socialize our boys, the kind of norms associated with the manhood we teach our boys. Here I will like to quote the quotation of Simone de Beauvoir. She says that women are not born, but they are made through the socialization process. Na? So all the girls, they are being socialized in their family, in their community, in their neighborhood, in their schools, how to become a woman, how to become a mother. So she should behave like their mothers. Na? Likewise, all the men who are engaged for gender equality, gender justice, they said that men are also not born, men are made. What we do with boys, that we teach boys how to become a man, how to control lives of others. So this kind of idea of masculinity, which we called toxic masculinity or hegemonic masculinity. In India, we used to talk it, we used to say it hegemonic masculinity, but in European countries or in Australia, basically some few Australian sociologists, they put this terminology, toxic masculinity, where the men control other lives, men dominates others, men discriminate against women, men discriminate against the men who are not so difficult, so tough, who is not a tough man. So we need to change the situation. Third thing is that, third and more hopefully, men and boys have a positive role to play in helping to stop violence against women, and they will benefit personally and relationally from this. So here, Michael Flood want to highlight that men and boys should think about their idea of masculinities, which is hegemonic, which is toxic. So they need to change their idea of manhood, and they should play positive roles for gender justice to stop violence against women. And they will also get benefit of this because they will have better relationship with women. They will have better relationship with other men. So they will get benefit by this kind of changes. And this is also linked to SDG, as SDG 4 says, ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. So if our society is gender inclusive, then we can affirm that we can provide quality education to not only the all men but also all women. SDG 5 says achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. SDG 11 says make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. So we need to create such an environment of all the human settlements which is safe for women, safe for all the genders, transgender, sexual minorities, and all the men, all the boys. And SDG 16 say how to access to justice for all and building effective, accountable institutions at all levels. So here, SDG 16 talk about our institutions, all our social institutions, which we need to make gender sensitive, gender inclusive, and also it should be accountable for all kind of violence, all kind of discrimination. So we need to change our social institutions. So here we need to change our attitude, our values, our norms, our institutions, and our behavior. If we want to bring a gender just society, if we want to change the situation. Now I am going to talk about MenEngage Alliance. So in 2007, a number of social activists, mostly male activists, who were working on the issue of violence against women, the issue of gender-based violence, gender-based discrimination. So they came together and they developed this alliance in 2007. So objective of this alliance is to transform unequal power relations and dismantle patriarchal systems by transforming patriarchal masculinities and rigid, harmful norms around being a man. Working with men and boys on gender justice through intersectional feminist approaches, building inclusive collaborations from local to regional to global levels, developing joint actions in partnership with and accountability to women's rights, gender, and other social justice movements. So this alliance was built in 2007. And after 2007, all the men who were working on gender justice, they collected in Rio, Brazil. So first global symposium was organized on engaging men and boys for gender equality in Rio de Janeiro in March 2009. The theme of this symposium was going to scale. It was the first symposium which brought together around 1,500 men from the globe to discuss about the kind and types of all kind of violence and discrimination against women, against girls, against transgenders, and against men and boys. So the theme was going to scale. And the second MenEngage Global Symposium was organized in 2014 in New Delhi. And the theme was, it was call for action. So after scaling all kind of violence against women, discrimination against women, gender-based discrimination, now all the activists, they were ready to take action. So the call for action was happened in Delhi, and we call this a declaration and call to action. So it is a foundation of many of values and principles that are considered vital to initiatives to engage men and boys in gender equality, LGBTQI rights, and social justice for all. The third MenEngage Global Symposium was organized in November 2020 to June 2021. It was a Corona period, lockdown period. So it was an online symposium, and which was held for almost 8 months. So it was called Ubuntu Symposium. So which brought together thousands of individuals and organizations around the world. The symposium about coming together to improve the impact and accountability of our shared work for gender justice and women's rights. So if you want to listen about our initiative, I am talking about this because I am also associated with this work, main section 5 stopping violence against women. Actually, in 2002, I started this campaign in Uttar Pradesh. It is called main section to stop violence against women. So with a few like-minded men, we started this campaign in Uttar Pradesh in 2002, and we were started working on the issue of violence against women. And there is another network we developed in 2005. It is Forum to Engage Men. So it is a national network which work on the issue of violence against women, gender-based violence, and how to engage men and boys positively for gender justice. So these are the areas where we work together. So basically, we address the issue of gender stereotyping, violence against women, gender-based violence, sharing domestic responsibilities, caring for children, positive parenting, relationship with partner, management of anger, understanding the dehumanizing impact of hegemonic or toxic masculinity, and attitude towards sexuality. So these are the areas where MenEngage work together. Our principles are positive use of power, women's spaces will not be encroached, cooperation instead of competition, strength in diversity, cooperating in the struggle of women for promoting equality and eliminating injustice against women, maintaining honesty, transparency, and accountability, and involving men for a violence-free society. So these are our principles of working with men and boys for gender equality. So objectives are to increase awareness among men and boys about violence against women as a larger social issue, to motivate men and boys to shun violence, protest against violence, support survivors, and provide new role models. And our target groups are work with peer groups. We work with youth, and students, adolescents, men in the community, teachers, head of departments, deans, panchayat representatives, local leaders, advocates, doctors, media persons, NGOs, and activists. So usually we do different kind of activities with the different groups like FGDs, games, competitions, film show, symposiums, meetings, rally, and providing educational materials and trainings, consultations with media, meetings, symposiums. So these are our activities with other kind of groups. With authorities, we do counseling, symposiums, meetings, information sharing, rally, men in community, meetings, advocacy, rally, awareness campaign, capacity building on acts. So we have also developed some resource materials. This is a very popular snack and ladder game. So we used to play these games with the groups. So you can see the messages written where to take ladder and where snake bites, on which messages snake bites, and so there are few positive messages where we take ladder and few negative messages where snake bites. We also have developed some flashcards for training. So these are training materials. And domains of change are culture of violence, relationship with spouse, female friends, respect, friendship, partnership, autonomy, responsible sexual behavior, management of conflict and anger, broader range of emotional expression, leadership, mentoring, influencing others, violence against women interventions, public action in violence against women cases. So these are domains of change. This is very famous quote given by our very popular actor Amitabh Bachchan. मर्द को दर्द नहीं होता. So here I would like to talk about the masculinity. I say that मर्द को दर्द होता है. Men are also emotional, sentimental. So men need to realize that they are also a human being. They are not a stone. They are not a rock. They are not a iron. They are a human body. So they need to realize they are like other. They are like women. So this man also cry when he become emotional. When his father died, he was crying in public. He was weeping in public. So men need to understand their vulnerabilities also. They are human beings. They are not a hard rock. Women should share their emotions. This will help them. So this is final. We are reaching at the conclusion part of my presentation. That we studied those men who were involved for gender equality. So they said that they they were aware about their own self and their personality. They developed their personality and they realized that they must change themselves. This way they get better marriage, better partnership, better friendship, better communication with peers, and they were involved in broader range of emotional expressions, and they got respect and recognition in the society, and they got personal fulfillment and satisfaction that they are contributing positively for the society. So these are challenges. Initially, men may feel that they are being disempowered. They get reactions from their family that what kind of man you are. You are working in the kitchen. This is not your job. You are behaving like a woman. So these are challenges. It is very difficult to escape from patriarchal norms, and also the cost of leadership, mentorship, public action, time, money, threatenings, increased expectation from others, the challenge of paternalism. Men always want to become a protector of girls, so they control their movements. So this is not good. So, and sustaining leadership energy also a great challenge. So thank you. Men of quality are not afraid of equality. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much, sir, for very informative and very enlightening lecture for our participant. And really, through your lecture, we are able to know the main prospect, what as a main we can do for the society in the gender equality. So, dear participant, if you have any doubt, anything, no, please put your queries or questions, any your feedback fast, so that we will take up and we will move ahead further. So, if someone have something, please put up. So, sir, I think only in the chat box they are praising you and saying your thanks for your lecture. So, with this, we got no further clarification from the participant side. So, I would like to thanks my behalf as well as my university behalf. So you accepted our invitation, and today you are very busy in different administrative and academic work. Even then, you ready to share your rich experience and your view on a very relevant and burning topic with our participant. So with this, thank you so much.